Okay, this is part 2 of scaling figures and scale factor. This one will be shorter. So we're going to go to the example problems in your packet. And we're just going to go over how to figure out what the scale factor is here. Okay, so let's look at example 1. We have all 3 measurements here for all 3 sides and all 3 measurements for all 3 sides here. So this is going to be easier to figure out. Let's choose a side. Let's choose this side here, the height. And let's look at the height right over here as well. How are we going to get from 5 millimeters to 10 millimeters? From 5 to 10. If you're having trouble thinking about it, let's look at the base. Let's look at the base next. How are we going to get from 12 millimeters to 24 millimeters? Are you seeing a relationship here? From 13 millimeters to 26 millimeters. Aren't you multiplying by 2? 5 times 2 is 10. 13 times 2 is 26. 12 times 2 is 24. Okay, and so that's why they're saying here this example is using a 200% enlargement, because it's twice the size of the original. The enlargement is twice the size of the original because you're multiplying by 2. You could also write this as a ratio of 2 to 1. See how this is a bigger fraction than 1? When you multiply a number by a number that is more than 1, then you're going to get a larger number as the result. Okay, and this would be new to original. I don't even have that memorized because I think of it in this way. Okay, and then let's look at example 2, and I'm going to let the example do the calculations for me down here. Because you'll either need to do division or use a calculator. Okay, so now we've only got one side, and so let's look, original and new. This is a reduction because it's smaller than the original. So you know that your fraction is going to be a number less than 1. Now we have all 4 sides, but we only have one side here with a measure. So we're going to have to compare the exact 2 same sides, this side and this side. So the original is 12. The new is 3. How are we going to get from the original to the new? We're not going to multiply, because when you multiply by a number, then you get a larger number. We're going to have to divide. What are we going to divide by? 12 divided by what equals 3? 12 divided by 4 equals 3. So our scale factor is 1/4. I take it back. No, I don't. 1/4. Okay. So because when you multiply by a number, and you multiply that number by a number less than 1, you're going to get an answer that's less than 1, a result. Okay. So then what would the rest of these be? Right? We'd have to do the exact same thing. We did 12 divided by 4 to get to 3. We're going to also do 10 divided by 4. And I'm going to look down here. It's 2.5. And then we need to do 18 divided by 4. 18 divided by 4 is also, or is not also, 18 divided by 4 is 4.5. 20 divided by 4, that one we can do in our heads, is 5, because 5 times 4 is 20. Okay, so that is the way to use scale factor when determining unknown side lengths from an original figure.